It's been...
Turn
your head on the side and tell you sorry. You're crazy. You're sorry. 3 weeks since a living room.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't there a living room in there or something? Oh my god, I don't know the words. Anyway.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah. And this is Hashtag History, the podcast for both history nerds and history haters alike,
where we dive into history's greatest stories of controversy, conspiracy, and corruption.
This is Hashtag History, episode 27. I'm Rachel.
Sorry, I was going to do a weird voice.
It's fine.
It's fine. And I'm Leah. And I'm Leah. Sorry.
And we are talking about the Donner Party this week. I think the Donner Party is one of those things in history that everyone at least has a cursory knowledge of. But how much do you really know about it? Before I assume that everyone does know about the Donner Party, if there is any potential chance that we have a listener out there that does not know, I think this right here should sum it up for you. When I was conducting my research for this episode, the number one most asked question about the Donner Party was, who was eaten in the Donner Party?
Yay.
Not what, not when, who. That's right, guys. We're talking about cannibalism this week. Due to a handful of mistakes and mishaps in their pioneering journey westward. That was a difficult sentence. Let's do that again.
It was very slurred, but I don't think you're drunk.
I feel like a little tipsy, but no. Due to a handful of mistakes and mishaps in their pioneering journey westward, the Donner Party ended up spending the winter months of 1846 to 1847 in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Without food or supplies, members of the Donner Party began to eat one another as a means of survival. And on that note, let's drink. The one nice piece is that the cocktails are close to the beginning of this episode. I feel like sometimes I give like
a 12-minute
introduction.
Yes.
Especially when the drink looks exceptionally good. It's like, okay, can this introductory move faster? In other cases where the drink looks gross and has condensed milk in it, I keep bringing that one up, but it was gross, guys.
You were like, let me keep talking for as long as I need to.
Yep, I can make this introduction 17 minutes long.
Yeah.
Watch me.
And I think we did.
Potentially.
I feel like the first half of the episode was intro and then the drink.
Like right around the halfway point where we take our break, we took a drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, but here's the drink already.
Yes.
For this week.
Yeah. It just came up like that. Okay. Yep. So super uplifting and inspirational topic. Yeah?
Yeah.
So as we will be discussing later in this episode, the Donner Party's journey ended near Truckee, California, which is just over an hour and a half up the road from us here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
On a personal note, last year around this time, I had to drive up to Reno, Nevada for a conference.
Yes.
Do you remember this? The Interstate Highway 80 that takes you straight from Sac to Reno was closed due to weather. So I ended up driving my rented Ford F-150 pickup truck through Lake Tahoe to get to the conference. This added like 3 hours to my trip, okay?
I remember this.
Lo and behold, the weather got worse while I was at the conference, yet I still decided to take I-80 back through Truckee home to, quote, save time.
There were air quotes when she said save time. Guys.
Yes. So I did almost die. So I feel like I have a connection to the Donner Party in that sense.
And because you were in Truckee?
And because I was in Truckee. But basically, I was somehow ended up at the front of a line of cars in a truck, in a giant tank.
Yes.
It was a tank that was skidding all over the highway because I don't drive in snow and I never have driven in snow before. But now I feel like I could say I could drive in. I've been there. Didn't cannibalize anyone because I was by myself, fortunately. And it was only like 4 hours.
You are missing a leg now, so you ate a little bit of your calf.
Right. No, I think I had snacks. But anyways, I just felt a little connection to the story in that way. So now I see how that happened to them because this blows.
Yeah.
Okay. Anywho, this week I wanted to find a quote pioneer drink, and I'm doing air quotes again. Why do I do that when
it's an audio platform? I don't know. I do a lot of like visual stuff too.
I mean, we have talked about in my bio, like on the website, it talks about how I make all these crazy facial expressions, which you guys are missing out.
Yeah, no, her eyebrows are at all times going at lightning speed. But it's the truth. Like super expressive. That was me doing a visual interpretation of your eyebrows, which our listeners can't see.
Right. Anyways, this week I wanted to find a pioneer drink and only came across one that had vodka and whiskey in it, which sounded disgusting, the combo.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So I just kind of made up my own.
I love it.
Semi-based on that. So, ready?
Yes.
It's Leah's Pioneer Cocktail. I don't know. Okay.
I was like, waiting. Oh,
that's it.
Okay, got it. Uh-huh.
It contains muddled orange slices, a shot of whiskey, a little bit of triple sec or orange liqueur, similar orange liqueur, and then topped with ginger beer.
Yum.
I have no idea.
Those all sound like very you things to me anyway.
And I will say I put all of the muddled oranges into the cup, so I think it's going to be like drinking an orange. Like the thickness.
Drinking orange juice with like extra pulp?
Yeah, like more than extra pulp.
That's okay. I don't know how you feel about
chunky
pulp.
Oh, I like pulp.
I like orange juice either way, but when it does have pulp in it, I don't mind because the pulp makes it feel kind of like a smoothie, like kind of thicker.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, cheers.
Cheers?
Let's actually clinky this time.
Oh, I like it.
Okay.
You don't.
Oh, and I should mention that I used some personally aged whiskey that my husband, he has.
That is fantastic.
Like these whiskey barrels that he actually ages his own whiskey.
I'm going to put this all the way up at an 8.
Girl,
we
did well this week.
You did well this week.
Last week we had a 3 and a 4, I believe.
It was rough. Are you liking it?
I do. There's something about it I'm not sure about. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna give it a 7. It's not quite as high for me, which is surprising because I love whiskey. So,
okay. This incident occurred in the 1840s when there was a lot of migration going on throughout the states. We're all familiar with the Oregon Trail, even if it's just because we all played that computer game.
Nico has a card game version of the Oregon Trail. It's really stupid.
I kind of like that a lot, though. You know, the other game I played a lot was Roller Coaster Tycoon. Did you ever play that?
I was a SimCity girl.
I never was, but after coming back from Disneyland recently, I found that there's an app of the Roller Coaster Tycoon. May or may not have downloaded on my phone. Still haven't played it, but it's there. Anyway, she's giving me a judgmental look. The Oregon Trail was a 2,170-mile long trail that led from the Missouri River to Oregon Territory and also stretched down to California. There was a great appeal to travel to California, in particular in the late 1840s because of, any guesses?
The Gold Rush.
The Gold Rush, guys. Expansion was a big deal at this time in American history. There was the concept of manifest destiny, which, quick History 101 reminder, manifest destiny is the concept that any land that fell between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans belonged to white European settlers and that they were to conquer it. That concept of manifest destiny and just the overall idea of expansion is exactly what the Donner Party decided to do. Consisting of both the Donner family and the Reed family, which is why this case is sometimes referred to as the Donner-Reed Party, and that is actually how I will be referring to it for the remainder of the episode, a total of 32 people began the journey from Springfield, Illinois to head west towards California on May 12, 1846. This group was led by the Donner brothers, George and Jacob, and a man named James F. Reed. Along the way, more travelers joined their group, so that a total of 89 travelers were on this journey to California. Now, the fact that they chose to travel at this time of year this is already a little funky. The ideal time to set off toward the west was actually in mid to late April. This mid to late April timeframe allowed for there to still be enough grass for animals to feed on, as well as enough time to travel before the winter hit. The Donner Reed Party was actually the very last party to leave for westward travel in 1846, and this late departure ends up playing a huge role in the success, or lack thereof, of their journey. This journey that they embarked on generally consisted of 15 miles of travel a day, which meant that the total journey could take anywhere between 4 and 6 months' time. As if 2,170 miles isn't daunting enough, it was actually the last 100 miles or so of the journey that were the worst part. This last 100 miles ran across the Sierra Nevada, which was all mountains, meaning that snow was inevitable in this region dependent upon the time of year. The worst time of year to be caught here would be September or later, when the mountains were covered with snow, and again, when there was no grass for the animals to feed. So, Leah, about what time of year do you think the Donner Reed Party reached the Sierra Nevada?
Well, I'm going to guess it was when the snow was on the mountains.
Yeah. So there are some discrepancies, but we know for sure that they arrived there in either late October or early November, which again, anytime after September was
a no-go.
No bueno, yeah. Now, why did it take them that long to get there? For one, the Donner Reed Party were not skilled pioneers with significant travel experience. But the primary reason was that they took some bad advice from a dishonest man. I have a picture of the path that the Donner Reed Party took on their journey that we can pull up and look at as we go along. Yeah, so I will go into detail, but you can see in this picture like Oregon Trail all the way over to Sutter's Fort in California.
Mm-hmm.
That's the travel, or that's the path. A man by the name of Lansford Hastings, a guide and prior migrant from Ohio to the west, was heavily promoting a new path he had discovered, which he lovingly called Hastings Cutoff. According to Hastings, this particular path provided a shortcut to California by making it a more direct path. If you look back at that picture, you can kind of see Hastings Cutoff there, as opposed to taking the Fort Hall Pass, which was the more commonly taken path. So according to Hastings, like I said, this path provided a shortcut to California by making it a more direct path. And while it's true that it was a more direct path, it actually added on miles to the journey. In addition to that, at the time that the Donner Reed Party was embarking on their journey, only Hastings and one other person had successfully reached California by way of Hastings Cutoff.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And neither Hastings nor the other successful individual had wagons with them, which, if you will recall, the Donner Reed Party, which now contained more than just the Donner and Reed families, were bringing along with them a lot of people with a lot of kids and a lot of belongings.
And a lot of animals, right?
A lot of animals, exactly. So they had a ton of wagons, a ton of animals, in particular like oxen and stuff that were dragging along the wagons. The Hastings Cutoff route took travelers through a path that was not conducive to wagon traveling at all. Hastings was really talking up this new shortcut, though, writing letters to riders and to then deliver to travelers, encouraging them to take the new path. The Donner Reed Party were recipients of one of these letters. In this letter, Hastings said that he would be waiting at Fort Bridger, a small fur trading outpost located in Wyoming. He would wait there for the travelers to assist them in taking the new path. I've uploaded a picture of the fort here, Leah, for you to look at, Fort Bridger. It's not actually a very particularly exciting picture. The exciting piece is that this fort is still there today and actually has a pretty extensive history of being a place that housed a station for the Pony Express and also housed the Union Army during the Civil War for a bit.
It looks like Sutter's Fort.
Yeah. And Sutter's Fort is also instrumental to this story, too, when some of those from the Donner Reed Party did successfully reach California. They stayed at Sutter's Fort. But yeah, you're right. All of these forts kind of look the same.
You want to know something I questioned about the whole thing with the gold rush and then them ending in Sacramento?
Yes.
Is like technically, yes, Sacramento, there was some like gold panning and stuff in Sacramento, but most of it was actually up.
San Francisco is where most of it was.
San Francisco, or then up in like the El Dorado National Forest. So like they went past that to get to Sacramento.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. Sorry.
It's okay.
Now, prior to reaching Fort Bridger, the the Donner Reed party found along the way notes that were stuck on forked sticks warning them not to take Hastings Cutoff. The notes warned that the new path, having not been traveled as much as the established Fort Hall path, was not paved well for wagon travel. In addition to these concerns, when the Donner Reed party reached Fort Bridger, Hastings was nowhere to be found. Remember, Hastings had said that he would be waiting at the fort when they arrived in order to help guide them through the cutoff. The party waited for Hastings for 8 days before setting off a letter with a messenger to locate him. A handful of days later, the party received a response from Hastings telling them to follow an alternative trail.
Alternative.
That was like weird saying that. To follow an alternative trail to reach Hastings Cutoff. This alternate path ended up costing them an additional 18 days, and it was brutal. Because the path had not been frequently traveled, they quite literally had to create a path for themselves and their wagons by cutting down trees, moving huge rocks, and so on. The party finally reached the Wasatch Mountains. Remember that they had already left late in the season to begin with. In addition to that, they have now wasted nearly 3 weeks going through Hastings' route. It took an additional 2 weeks to get through the Wasatch Mountains before the party reached the Great Salt Lake. Food was scarce and spirits were low.
I was also just in Salt Lake City.
That's right. That's where your layover was.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Leah, you know one of my favorite things to do with history, one of the reasons that I love history so much, is because these are real people. These are real events, real emotions, real thoughts, real feelings here. Mm-hmm. I want us to imagine this scenario from a real life standpoint and think about the way the party was feeling at this point.
Like defeated.
Completely defeated. There were a handful of members that chose to go to the well-traveled path instead of following Hastings Cutoff because they didn't trust it. The notes warning them against the cutoff had worked for those folks.
Yeah, it would have worked for me too, to be completely honest.
I think me too. I would hope so anyway. I think it would work for me too, but I do also understand, like, what if you were traveling with your family and the rest of your family said, no, let's try this new path?
We've already discussed that, like,
we're different.
And like you can be peer pressured, or you don't like to say no. Yeah. And I feel like I don't like to say no either. But when it comes to like something like this, like my safety or something like that, I'm just like, nah. If you want to go for it.
Yeah. If it was like my family and every single one of them, with the exception of me, was saying, let's try this new cutoff path, and I was like, no, really, guys, I don't think we should. I would end up doing the cutoff path if that's what they wanted to do. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Think about if you were one of the members that had chosen, though, to stick with the rest of the group as they made their voyage through unknown territory. Just think about the way people felt and the things they must have been thinking. They're questioning the leadership. They're questioning themselves. The distrust in this group was thick. Every man was looking out for his own. They were no longer a united team. Think of it like Disneyland. Not that this is fun and magical in any way, but you know that I have firsthand experience with when you go to Disneyland with a group of 17 people, it's not physically possible for everyone to stay together.
No, and if you do, someone's going to get murdered.
You mean like you're going to be so frustrated with the person, someone's going to get murdered. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, and I just mean, like, some people want churros, and then the other half of the group wants to ride Space Mountain until they're like vomiting because they've done it 700 times.
I want the best of both worlds, please.
We'll see. And then there are people that want the best of both worlds. So everyone like has different agendas, and also everyone moves at a different pace, which you and I both move at the Disneyland hustle pace, which is the elbow and shoulder every human in existence in your path. But then there are the other people that are like actual decent patient human beings that let people walk in front of them,
and then they don't get on any rides,
because they don't know the Disney hustle is what I call it. So
do the hustle.
It's a Disney hustle.
Yes.
But so yeah, you and I both know this about Disneyland. Again, the Donner Reed party is not like Disneyland, but in one sense it is. Everyone has a different agenda. They move at different paces. There are 89 people in this group. I've gone to Disneyland with at a max like 12, 13 people.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Yeah. I struggle with 4.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
So with tensions rising high, a fight ended up breaking out amongst the party members in which Reed ended up stabbing another member of the group.
Wow.
Right. They ended up deciding that Reed was to be banished and would have to find his own way to California without his family.
Did he survive, though?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, of course he did.
That was a spoiler. The majority of the group get to the Great Salt Lakes only to find a beat-up, crumpled-up letter from Hastings there informing them that the next 2 days of the trek will be without water or grass for the animals.
Fantastic.
The party ended up losing several animals at this time due to death by thirst and starvation, or because a handful of animals actually broke free from the group and took off. And I don't know, they were the smart ones in here.
Yeah, this is giving me like serious Oregon Trail flashbacks to like, God, the oxen died again of thirst.
And I don't really remember I remember the Oregon Trail game, but I more so remember the roller coaster tycoon game where it's same thing, like, ugh, when I'm charging people 25 cents to go to the bathroom, why don't they go anymore? Did you ever play roller coaster tycoon?
No.
Oh my God, so much fun. Anyone out there that did play, give me some love, send us a message, let me know you were a roller coaster tycoon person too.
Let me know if you're a SimCity person like me.
Okay, we'll have a battle. We'll see.
Let's dance battle it out. But we should do a poll.
Yeah, we should. We'll do a poll, guys. So after 2 months, let me emphasize that again, 2 months, the Donner Reed party finally completed Hastings Cutoff and rejoined the well-traveled path that many followers before them had. In total, Hastings Cutoff ended up costing them about a month of time.
Oof. Which they already started late.
They already started late. That is a hell of a lot of time, especially when you're under the time constraint of weather. All right. So if you will recall, closer to the top of the episode, we discussed the fact that the party reached the worst part of the trip, the last 100 miles through the Sierra Nevada, at the worst possible time. It was late October, early November at this point. All the people that had traveled west at the appropriate time had already reached their destination. But here the Donner Reed party was still 100 miles behind them. An unexpected snowfall hit, making the voyage through the Truckee Lake area, now known as Donner Pass, obviously named after the Donner Reed party voyage, absolutely impossible. Try as they might, the crew couldn't break through the snow. They couldn't see the path through the snow. They had no choice but to abort mission and put up camp right where they were at. The various families that were a part of this party constructed log cabins for each respective family and lived in those while snow poured down for 8 days straight. Food was scarce. One family was able to live off of an oxen that had died, but even obtaining that oxen was a whole ordeal. The family paid double the price of a healthy oxen to the owners of the oxen just to survive. Inflation in a time of desperation, right?
Yeah.
Several attempts were made by smaller groups to pass through the snow, but they were all unsuccessful. Times became pretty desperate. They became so desperate, in fact, that there is this story about a family living in one of the cabins that had an oxhide rug in front of their fireplace that the children literally started throwing into the fire until the hide turned into a gooey mess, and then they ate it.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yes. Families had also used oxhide to fill in the cracks between the logs in their cabins, but faced with the realities of starvation, they began to eat this hide as well, making their cabins entirely uninhabitable in the dead of winter.
Ugh.
Rewind back to what I said earlier about making history real. Think about these people in terms of real life, everyday people. These families began pitting against one another. There was one family that owed another family a debt. So in exchange for that debt, the one family stole all of the hide from the debtor's house. Like I said earlier, every man was out for his own. In addition to all of this, along the way, a group of Native Americans joined the Donner Reed party for a brief period of time before abandoning the group and either stealing or killing several of their oxen.
I would have gone with them.
Oh,
like, they
know.
obviously know what's
They
up.
know the territory.
Yeah.
It was on December 16th that a smaller group of the party, 10 men and 5 women, set out to cross the mountains and find a way out for the larger group. Which, FYI, in case I haven't already made this clear, the majority of the Donna Reed party were children.
And I'm sure there actually were not. They were dying at this point, right? Or not quite.
I'll like towards the end. There's a conclusion of like how many people lived and whatnot. But no, you're right. Like the Donna Reed party was made up of more than 50% of children, 6 of which were infants. And you're right that they were completely malnourished. They're not eating.
Yeah, I would assume that at this point, people who are not super healthy already, like children are dying off it.
Or not doing well.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, so the smaller group of 15, they set out through the mountains on makeshift snowshoes that they had put together made of oxhide.
Everything was made of oxide.
Everything, I know. After nearly a week on this journey and having gone days without food, they began to eat their snowshoes. It wasn't too long after that talk began that perhaps a member of the party should, sacrifice themselves for the greater good to allow the rest of the group something to eat. I.e., hey, Bob, would you do us a favor, kill yourself so the rest of us can eat your body?
Oh.
Yeah. So they actually considered starting somewhat of a lottery system to see who the unlucky Good Samaritan would be. They didn't have to wait long for someone to die, though. Shortly thereafter, a man in their group named Patrick Dolan went crazy. He ripped his clothes, ran around like a lunatic, and then just died.
Ugh.
It wasn't too long after that the Donna Reed party began eating his flesh.
Did they cook it? I'm assuming yes.
I would hope so. I do know when we get a little later in the story, they did like start to dry meat, kind of like a jerky. So they kind of like, and they knew to like store human meat in the snow to like preserve it.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Over the course of the next few days, a total of 4 others in their group died and were eaten by the other members. In my research, I found that the party had a systematic way of organizing and differentiating the bodies to ensure that no one ever ate one of their own family members. So there's that at least, right?
That's nice, I guess.
Like, if you're going to eat another human being,
it
at least
probably shouldn't be your mom. Yeah.
It shouldn't be your mom.
Yeah, I agree with that, I guess.
There were only 2 members that refused to partake in cannibalism, but after nearly 9 days of not eating and near death themselves, another member of the party shot the 2 men and fed them to the group.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ah!
Back at Truckee Lake, where the majority of the party remained, there was cannibalism going on there as well. After 33 days, the surviving 6 out of that initial 15 members that had separated from the larger group made it to a ranch in the outer Sacramento Valley. Once this small group settled, a rescue attempt for the greater party still out at Truckee Lake was made. This rescue attempt took a long-ass time. In a direct quote from an article from History.com, it reads, "Of the 5 months the Donner Party spent trapped in the mountains, nearly half of it took place after they had already been located by rescuers."
Oh my gosh.
That's freaking nuts. When the rescuers finally reached the remainder of the party at the lake, they found that nearly half the group had died. Of those that did survive, a handful of these members died on the rescue journey out of the mountains as they were entirely malnourished and weak. One survivor was a man named Louis Keseberg. Keseberg goes down in history as potentially being the only man that enjoyed cannibalism. Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't heard about this.
Yeah. Legend has it that Keseberg actively killed other members of the party for meat, as opposed to waiting for them to die on their own before resorting to killing them. Legend also has it that he bragged about enjoying the taste of human flesh, and that when rescuers found him, he was half mad and surrounded by the corpse of his victims. At the end of it all, a mere 45 of the original 89 party members survived. George and Jacob Donner, their wives, and their children were not amongst the survivors. There have been many memorials created in honor of the Donner Party. A weird semi-personal connection that I have to the case, Leah and I always talk about how we are from Sacramento, California. Technically, I live in a town just outside of Sacramento, but it's still in the greater Sacramento area. Anyway, the body of one of the survivors of the Donner Reed Party, Elitha?
Yeah, Elitha. I think it's like Alyssa, but
okay,
Elitha.
with a TH. Elitha Kumi Wilder is actually buried in a cemetery in that little town that I live in. It is 12 minutes from my house. That's pretty freaking cool.
Nerding out.
Isn't that cool? She is 12 minutes from my house. She is one of the survivors of the Donna Reed party.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another semi-personal connection that I have, Leah, who is my number one all-time favorite historical figure?
Abraham Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln every freaking day. Something that not many people know is that Abraham Lincoln was this close to being a part of the Donna Reed party.
I didn't know this.
Yes. He lived in Springfield, Illinois, where the party departed from, and expressed significant interest in traveling with them to California. His wife, Mary Todd, was pregnant at the time, and she had a toddler already at home. In addition to that, Lincoln's political career was just beginning to take off in the late 1840s. This is what held him back from trekking the journey alongside the other travelers. And can we just say, thank God?
You're so funny.
Little tear dropped down my cheek.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like, who would you be if he had done that?
Who would I even be if Lincoln didn't exist? That's an intense question.
Yeah.
We don't have time to answer
That's
that.
too deep. She's crying, guys.
It's too deep. The tears are coming. Thank God he wasn't part of the party. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Hashtag History. Next week, we will be coming at you with the first half of a super special 2-parter episode. So get ready for that, guys. We will post the pictures from this episode to our Instagram, and all sources used to put this episode together can be found on our website. If you enjoyed the episode, do us a favor and subscribe to Hashtag History on whatever podcast platform you use, share it with a friend, and give us a rate and review.
And be sure, as always, to check us out on Instagram at #history_podcast.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Bye. That didn't work well at all. That was the worst. We didn't harmonize. We were saying different vowels. Like, what the f***?
Rewind.
It's a really inspirational topic.
Orange in my teeth.
Got
it.
Okay. Like, literally,
I know.
We need to put the drinks out of sight.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, we need to put the drinks at the beginning of the episode.
Oh.
I thought that's where you were going.
No, I was going to say just out of sight until we do that.
Yeah, it's difficult to not drink them before it's time. Anyway, guys, without food or supplies, it's your face that's the funniest part. Does he do that stuff like when you're out there?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if it was because like no one's paying attention to him.
I mean, that might be heightening it, but no, he's like this.
Dude, okay, I've already said due to a handful. I'm not doing that again.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I love being schooled by you.
Couldn't tell if you were serious or not.
You'll never know.